This is Robert Harper with Virginia Farm Bureau's Grain Division. Glad to bring you the Merchandiser Minute for Friday, May the 1st, 2020, where we've got a lot of news again this week that definitely had impacts on your marketing and on the futures and the basis portion of your cash price. And let's take a look at some of the eye catchers that we saw this week. We had everyone rolling out of the May futures contracts and into the July, and it was so good to see some positive price action yesterday, Thursday, especially with soybeans up 17 cents a bushel with some short covering. It was pretty clear on the last day of the month that those soybean speculators who are short futures wanted to buy some of them back to put that profit in the bank for the month. Nothing fundamental had changed, but it was still good to see the board move up and move up fast. We've had lots of flash sales announcements this week. That helped fuel that short covering rally in beans yesterday. Mexico and China have both bought substantial amounts of beans from us this week, even old crop beans. That was very positive. We saw on Monday that the U.S. Pork Council had met and was meeting with the USDA concerning the euthanizing of hogs. And then on Tuesday, we saw President Trump. Maybe he took information from that meeting and other sources, but President Trump on Tuesday issued an executive order stating that packing plants should stay open and would stay open as a matter of national security. That came on the heels as well on Monday with South Dakota's governor allowing Smithfield permission, giving them permission to open their Sioux Falls pork processing plant back up. We had this week, the European Crop Monitoring Service shared data with the world that showed it's as dry as it's been this past winter and this early spring across most of Europe as it's been since 1979. We know the soft wheat futures contract has been supported some price-wise by that dryness in Europe, and those numbers this week back that up. We saw more chatter this week coming from Black Sea wheat producers. In this case, specifically, Ukraine said that they would go back to exporting wheat. We know there's been a lot of on-again, off-again language coming out of Romania, the Ukraine, and Russia about wheat exports. But again, this week, the Ukraine said they would start exporting wheat again. We saw the Senate say they were going back to work on May the 4th together in Washington, D.C., but the House say that they were going to hold off on that. We need to keep our eye on that, and that might have changed since this morning, but it looks like the House is not coming back on May the 4th. So keep your eye on that, and keep your eye on the kind of signals that sends to the country as many state governments are reopening, and we're all looking to each other, kind of learning from each other on how to do this. Let's take a look at the futures this week. July corn closed down 4 cents on the week at $3.18. July soybeans closed up 11 cents on the week to close at $8.49. And your new crop July wheat contract in Chicago closed at $5.16 a bushel. That's up 16 cents for the week. Let's take a look at some cattle numbers. June live cattle were up $3 per hundred this week. $87.25 was the closing price. And May feeder cattle were down $2 per hundredweight this week to close at $117.82. Bill Lapp at Advanced Economic Solutions has put some numbers together, harvest numbers in regard to beef, pork, and poultry. And if we compare this date today to this date a year ago, 65%, we're down 65% on our beef kill numbers. We're down 61% here in the U.S. on our hog kill numbers. But interestingly enough, we're almost spot on our poultry numbers, with 158 million birds being processed a day a year ago today, and today at 156 million. So we know those packers have a lot of challenges with COVID and how that impacts their employees, and we're celebrating that we've got as much processing going on as we do, especially on the poultry side of things, and we're hopeful that that production that's offline will come back sooner rather than later. We know that the speculator sees that offline production as negative to demand, and that's been part of what's been hurting our futures price. Let's take a look at the crop progress numbers from USDA on Monday. Remember, we get those each week now, Monday afternoons at 4 o'clock. And the USDA said the American farmer was 27% planted on corn. The 5-year average is 20%. So we're ahead. Y'all are off to a good start. The 11 states of the 18 that grow the majority of our corn in the United States are all ahead. So we're off to a good start. When we look at Virginia, we're 41% planted on corn as of last Monday. The 5-year average is 39%. And one interesting note here in Virginia, according to National Ag Statistics, as of Monday, the wheat was 45% headed, and our 5-year average is 23%. All of you tell us that your wheat looks good, and these numbers back up the fact that it is running ahead on maturity of where we normally are. 45% headed, and again, our 5-year average is 23%. We saw excellent sales this week in the weekly export sales report, just outstanding. Our top corn buyers this week were Mexico and Japan. Our top soybean buyers this week, China and Egypt. And our top wheat buyers this week were Taiwan and the Philippines. Some other numbers out from the government that are impacting your price. We saw the new unemployment numbers hitting 30 million here in the U.S. I didn't do the math on that, but I think that's about 20% unemployment from where we were at around 3% when we started. The Federal Reserve did meet this week, and we also got a very important weekly EIA report concerning ethanol. And those numbers on Wednesday showed that production was down 4.6%. But for the first time in 6 weeks since we've started cutting production, we had the stocks go down 4.9%. So we needed some positive news there. Remember, y'all got a lot to be paying attention to right now. Look for opportunities in basis. There are opportunities, whether it's for soybeans, corn, or wheat, to lock in basis on your new crop bushels. Give us a call and let us help you if we can look at that. Remember, next week we're looking hard at what impact coronavirus is going to keep having on the world and on the U.S. people-wise and economically wise. We're going to be looking for any new government monetary policy that could come out that could impact speculators and their opinions. And we're watching weather in South America. Looks like another good week for planting in the Corn Belt. Give us a call if we can help you. This is Robert at Virginia Farm Bureau's Grain Division.